If you want to master 2-note per string shred licks like Zakk Wylde, Joe Bonamassa, or Neil Schon, you need to be practicing this. Hey there kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. You know, here recently over on my Patreon page, I've had a whole bunch of messages from my lovely and loyal patrons asking for some great ways to exercise 2-note per string shred patterns. These are kind of along the lines of the licks that you hear in like Don't Stop Believin', that really fast repeating lick that Neil Schon plays. But also guys like Eric Johnson, Joe Bonamassa, and Zakk Wylde have made entire careers off of 2-note per string pentatonic shred licks. These can be really challenging to add into your playing because of how rapidly the string changes occur. But with the right strategy and picking technique, it can become a breeze to add these into your arsenal of shred licks. So on today's video, I'm going to give you guys a great exercise that you can use to practice 2-note per string shred patterns, as well as some insight about the kind of picking you should be using to make them work. As always, this video is brought to you guys by everybody who supports my channel over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Sign up today even for just $1 a month level. You're going to get access to a ton of backing tracks, bonus lessons, downloadable tabs, and more. And this week, everybody who supports the channel is also going to get access to a bunch of practice tracks that I made to go along with this exercise. I'm also going to be uploading the MIDI files, that way you can import them into your DAW of choice and make your own perfect practice session at whatever tempo and key that you so desire. So don't delay, sign up today. Thanks. And if you want to go fast, you're going to need a fast guitar. That's why I'm holding on to this beautiful Jackson SL3 Soloist. This is one of those amazing American-made ones they just started producing this year. And good lord, it is gorgeous and it plays like butter. That neck is absolutely perfect. It's fast, easy on the eyes, and feels good under the fingers. Just like me. Let's hear your new favorite warm-up again at stepdad speed. Okay, first I'm going to show you the exercise, and we'll talk about some of the specifics with picking and how you should be practicing this stuff. So this exercise is based around the B minor pentatonic scale. It's perfect breeding ground for these kinds of licks because our pentatonic patterns are typically 2 notes per string. So we're going to start off here by thinking about this in pairs of strings as we go. So E and A and D, D and G, and so on. Your first pair of strings, you're going to play it like this. Play up the low E string, then the notes on the A string, and then go back to that first note you played on the low E, okay? Do it again. Then what we're going to do is to cycle through all 4 of those notes 3 times in a row before ending on that root note again. So you're going to have a short pattern, and then a long pattern. Be sure to really mind those rest breaks in there. We'll talk more about those later. Next, we're going to play the same idea, but working on the A and D string pair, like this. G. And as you play all these pairs here, this should all be alternate picked, starting on downstroke. Each one of those little short sets will start on a downstroke and end on a downstroke. This is really important. Here's why. Okay, down, up, down, up, down. You should be really focusing on starting with that good strong downstroke and ending with another strong downstroke. The reason that I point this out is I can already see some of you guys that are going to be tempted to economy pick here at the end, like this. Down, up, up. Kind of those two upstrokes in a row because the pick is already going in that direction anyway. That's fine, nothing against economy picking, that's just not really what we're here to practice. So be sure as you play through these pairs of strings that you're always starting on a down, ending on a down. Then the long one. Next we move here to the B and high E strings. And that's it for the ascending portion here. Now you're going to play all the same ideas but going down through the scale. So we're going to start off here on the D note on the high E string and play down like this. So again, that was just 4 notes down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back to the highest note. Okay, that's your short set. Repeat, then the long set. B to G. G to D. D to A. And then lastly A to D. And that is the workout. Now, of course, you could practice this with any of the other minor pentatonic shapes, like the major pentatonic, or any of the other positions. You could also even practice this with any other 2-note per string shape that you know, like a diminished arpeggio, for example. Might get you some extra Loomis appeal in there, if you know what I mean. On the practice tracks that I'm providing on the Patreon page, even for just $1 a month, I'm going to be uploading these so that you go through the entire workout 4 times in a row, which is pretty long. I think if you can get through that and not make any mistakes and you feel really comfy and relaxed, then you're ready to move on to the next tempo. Like I said, if you use the MIDI files and put those in your DAW, or I think even Guitar Pro or whatever, you can adjust that BPM, you know, slightly higher as you go. That way you can gradually ramp up your speed. So be sure to take advantage of those. Okay, so now that you got the exercise under your mitts, let's talk about the kind of picking that you're going to need in order to master this stuff. Because it doesn't really matter how much you practice through that exercise, if you're not using the same picking technique that guys like Eric Johnson and Bonamassa use, these are just always going to be really tricky. And the kind of picking that you need to be utilizing is called downwards pick slanting. That's a term I picked up from Troy Grady and his amazing Cracking the Code series, which I've praised many times here on my channel. Be sure to check him out if you haven't. There's seriously like life-changing stuff over on his channel. But the basic idea is whenever you're playing those 2-note per string pentatonic shreddy licks, like Bonamassa or Zakk Wylde, for example, those guys are pretty much always using this style of picking because it allows them to escape from the string path on an upstroke every time. With downwards pick slanting, the pick isn't just going up and down like this right here. The pick is more at an angle. You might have noticed that earlier in the video whenever I was playing through this. My picking goes like this. The downstrokes go into the string path, the upstrokes emerge from the string path. That's what makes it easy to change strings. If you're the kind of player that picks more flatly like that, or the opposite, which is called upwards pick slanting, so that your downstrokes are out of the string path and your upstrokes are in the string path, you're going to have a hard time with this. Because think about it, if you're playing through one of those string pairs and you're going down, up, down, you can see how much maneuvering I'm having to do to get up and around the strings, right? Same if the picking is flat. Down, up, I got to jump over to go down, up, I got to jump over to go down. Whereas if you're a downwards pick slanting player, you'll go down, up, and your upstroke is already out of the strings, meaning you can just smash down on that next down, up set and end with a down. That's one of the real strategies that guys like Eric Johnson use, is that they very carefully organize their licks so that if they're doing just a straight picking kind of thing, they're always ending on an upstroke. You'll rarely see guys like this play like 1, 2, 3 notes on a string, unless they're doing another downstroke on the next string. But again, that's economy picking, different topic entirely. In order to help you see that more better, I'm going to use this little doohickey right here, which is one that Troy Grady himself gave me years ago. This is called the Magnet. It allows me to mount my iPhone into this thing and give you guys a straight down the barrel look at my picking angle and technique. That way you can see it more better. Let's check it out. So now that I have that angle on there, you can see what I'm talking about. My picking is not down up like this. Here's what that would look like. It'd be really awkward because again, you're going to see the pick have to jump over the strings all the time. See all that maneuvering? You can do that if you're playing slow, but once you get past a certain tempo, that technique is just not going to work anymore. That's when you're going to need the built-in string changing mechanism that downwards pick slanting offers you. Because again, look at this. I go down, up, I'm ready to change strings because I'm already outside of the strings. I kind of think of it as a picking system that has almost like a built-in elevator. You know, after every string change, it kind of just automatically takes me to where I need to be. This is especially helpful whenever we're descending like this. You can see how if I really commit to that picking motion right there, that upstroke puts me right where I need to be, above the D string, right? So really try to keep your picking on this kind of angle, you know? It's really sort of an angled picking style. The downstroke, if you want to really kind of practice this stuff, try to make your downstroke crash into the next string, like this. See how my pick is kind of resting on the A string? And then when I do the upstroke, I'm kind of flinging it out, almost like I'm scooping a tortilla chip in some salsa or something. Getting a little scoop going on. So into the strings, out of the strings, in and out. Reminds me of my honeymoon. You get the idea. Makes these licks entirely possible because your string change is built into your picking motion itself. Okay, so a lot of times whenever I see people that are trying to tell you ways to get better at this 2-note per string kind of shreddy stuff, they recommend patterns like this, typical Zakk Wylde patterns. Or ascending. I don't really recommend that if you're sort of new to this style. I think that if you're just playing non-stop triplets or sixteenths or whatever, our brain is trying so hard to keep up with not only what we're doing right now, but what's coming up next. It makes it really hard to focus on your motions and making sure everything is very deliberate and in control, because you're always thinking ahead of yourself. That's why I put this exercise together with these speed bursts. That way you can just concentrate on exactly what's happening right now, focus on that, and try to get these kind of 2-string bursts down as a single pattern of muscle memory. By practicing that first thing with a couple of bursts like that, what I'm trying to get here is, that motion of that 2-string blast programmed into your muscle memory as one action. So in other words, whenever I do that, I don't feel like that's 5 notes. I feel like that is one motion that my hand just kind of blurs through. And I've done that by practicing with speed bursts like that. So whenever I'm playing through a pentatonic scale, it doesn't feel like, what would that be, a dozen notes. It feels like this one motion that I've already kind of memorized 3 times. So I've kind of turned 12 individual thoughts into 3 individual thoughts. It's a lot less, taxing on the old mental computer right here. Frees up a lot of horsepower to make sure you're playing more better and more faster. So be sure to really focus on that downwards pick slanting kind of path with the picking there, and use those practice tracks I'm providing over on my Patreon page, and I swear you're going to be burning this stuff in no time. Thank you guys so much for liking this video, watching, and subscribing. Be sure to ring the bell down there for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold right here for you guys. And be sure to let me know in the comments what technique you struggle with, and I'll make up another great practice routine to help you get it down more better. And if you want to help support my channel, be sure to check out that Patreon page over at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Well guys, it's been fun as always, but as for me, it's time to get off of here and do some more shredding on this majestic, snowy beast right here. But as for you guys, I recommend you get away from here, grab those practice tracks, and get to 2 note per string shredding. Less clicking, more picking.